So I think we're live now, and then William, let me make you the host so you can manage who else might join, okay?
All right, sure.
Okay.
Okay.
So I set up the waiting room, and you're now host. Okay, so you can manage whoever else comes in. Okay, sorry for that elaborate
Okay.
setup. Giselle, thank you so much for writing in about this topic. COVID-19 has been um, pretty much the top of everyone's mind, and safety and health is critically important. So maybe can you first start off by sharing your perspective on this topic?
Absolutely. Thank you. So I am not a scientist or a doctor. I'm a mom. And I see and read the articles in our city and concerns about worker safety and people being able to shop, seniors being able to get things, people who aren't seniors, who are sick, who feel like they can't go to the store or who have anxiety. And it seemed to me that mandatory masks, which I first saw in Los Angeles, but was in other cities, and now is in Fremont, Pleasant Hill, San Francisco, and many counties, really, although it's obviously not the first safety step, which social distancing and shelter are, it's an important step to get to normalcy and to open up our vendors and protect our workers, especially because, now someone who works at a grocery store in Palo Alto has gone from someone who works at a grocery store in customer service to a frontline essential worker,
Yeah.
and they're not really compensated for that. And so I think we should do our part for our community. Palo Alto is forward thinking, and we should lead, even if Santa Clara County is just strongly recommending.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good perspective. And I think the other thing to add is probably the retail workers are also not the most highly paid people either, right? So
Right.
yeah, the frontline workers are putting their lives on the line in some cases, and
Absolutely.
and yet, um, yeah. So, but sometimes they don't have protection, right? Sometimes they don't. Sometimes, um, their work or they don't or they can't get it right. Sometimes the PPE stuff is just not available, right?
Right. But even if it is available to them,
Yeah,
that's still, we know, not going to be fully protective if the person on the other counter side isn't wearing a mask. And even then, it's not full protection, but it's better. And I think there's this whole idea of social cueing, that this is important as a community, to our young people, our teenagers who may be going back to school, to people who want to shop, groom their dogs, get their hair cut, right? We're going to have to adapt.
yeah.
This is a
So
step.
I know that some countries they've actually when you go outside you must wear a mask, right? And
Right.
like you look at like South Korea, right? So in South Korea they have like extensive um, tracing
Yes.
like where did the disease originate from?
Right.
And then they have also everyone has to wear a face mask when they go outside, just like and then in some places like China, it's like you get fined, right? You don't wear a mask, you're in trouble,
Right.
right?
I hear that. And
Yeah.
Sarah Cody even said, like, we can't enforce in Santa Clara County. But I think it's really great for a store to be able to tell someone,
Hmm.
you need a facial covering to come in,
Hmm.
right? So that's not police enforcement, but this is America where we enforce each other through our togetherness. I think it's a chance to bridge the divide and give people the right to speak up if they're uncomfortable. I don't think any of the counties has mandated masks outside yet, or cities. And I'm not suggesting that. I do think that's a step that could happen, but I think we should um, look at what could be most state safe within the sort of normal constraints of what's happening in the US.
Hmm.
And I think it is important in a city like Palo Alto, where we're so international, to also embrace differences of perspective. And there are many people here who have a perspective of having traveled more to Asia, and it is more normal.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I know like in Japan, like even before all of this, if you were sick, it was common courtesy to wear a face mask, right?
Yes.
It was just like it wasn't like weird or unusual.
No,
It was common.
exactly.
It was common practice, right? And so um I think we've had this pretty severe shutdown where not supposed to go outside except for essential purposes. And I think if we want to get past that, I think probably some things like the long you're talking about has to be considered, right? Because I think we're still ways off from getting a vaccine, unfortunately.
Yeah, I
And
mean, I'm not a scientist, as I said, and I wouldn't predict. We all hope. But
yeah,
I think, like, I don't know, I'm a woman. I shop, I get a lot of emails. But today I got my first email from a vendor of shoes that is selling attractive facial masks. And I thought that was so interesting because
yeah,
it's signaling we're going to need to be wearing these.
yeah,
And just getting back to the idea of, if we do this, we're signaling to each other that we care about each other. And I think in this time when we're so separate,
yeah,
that's an important message. And there are people who really cannot go to the store unless everybody is masked up. It's not perfect, but it's more safe for them.
mhm,
And not being able to go to the store right now can mean an inaccessible toilet paper or
yeah,
hand sanitizer or soap. It's
yeah,
crazy because online shopping doesn't afford the same conveniences.
yeah. I know that. Well, first of all, it's also a lot more expensive. So
Yes,
I mean, that's the other big factor. But I know that when I go into stores, I always have a face mask on, just because I want to, try to do my part.
great.
And I think from what I've seen, it seems like more and more people are doing that.
I
Um,
agree.
and even some people like just walking around, they're also trying to do that. And I think to me, I think this is part of being able to kind of reduce the sheltering in place is being able to um, because if everyone wore a face mask, maybe the measures we have right now don't it could be loosened up without a risk to people's health and safety, right?
Right. And even if there were a risk, it's a known risk, more of a known risk, and we can try it, right? And we can step in and out of, we can't really open up other types of stores without a mask rule.
Hmm.
And I think right now we just need to let people be able to shop for essentials, though, right?
Yeah,
And then we can look forward. But we don't really know what happens when more people go out as well. And we're
yeah,
doing well. So it seems like we should take a very soft next step.
yeah, yeah. So, so what's your thoughts about so within the store, especially in the confined space,
Right.
it seems to make a lot of sense to me, at least, right, to do that so that people are safe. Um, and even during like I know some stores have like senior hours where they try to make it
Right.
early in the morning or something like that. Even for then, it seems to make sense, like both the people coming in as well as people working
Yes.
there, right? Both
Right.
sides. Um, what's your thoughts about like whether we should try to do what some countries have done, which is try to make it where even if you're just walking down the street, right,
Right.
whether you should do that as well.
Well, as I said, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I'm a
Hmm.
private citizen. I think I would look to what people are saying about the safety of that. I mean, we've all read the same things. Maybe it's not 6 feet, maybe it's 13 feet. There was just an article that said it can come through the air conditioner in
Mm,
some places, right? It's
yeah,
droplets, it's not
yeah,
aerosol. So I guess I don't have a personal decision, but I think it's an important question, right? And that if we see more people going outside and then our numbers are creeping up, we have to learn how to address it. So we should be data driven. I like what Governor Newsom said about being data driven. So I think we too should be data driven. And we are seeing people, just going back to the original point, we are seeing workers getting sick, or sometimes you see posts like, oh, someone from Amazon was sick, someone from this
mm,
store, they should close it. But what I like to say is that
mhm,
to me, COVID-19 is like glitter. So
mm,
I had young kids a long time ago. And when you have glitter, it's everywhere and it's hidden. And we need to assume that everybody has a little bit of glitter on them,
yeah,
right? And wearing face coverings helps us stop the spread of that glitter. And so that to me is the main point.
yeah. I saw this. I think it was Wired or I forgot which um, website had it, but they did a little experiment where they they have this like UV powder
Oh
and
yeah,
they just in the video the guys aren't doing anything unusual,
right.
and then they show under the UV light like it gets everywhere.
It gets everywhere. It's just like
Yeah,
glitter. There's actually
yeah.
a glitter product for children that shows them about hand washing. I
Oh,
remember from when the kids were in preschool, and
okay.
um, it's everywhere. It's like one of those things like sand at the beach, right? You find it weeks later in your shoe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Except it's probably worse. Sand probably comes off easier than
Yes, yes,
yeah,
yeah. You can see it. right? In the
Yeah.
end, you can see it and wash it away and put it in a vacuum cleaner. You're
Yeah.
right.
And also the other thing I've heard that like COVID-19 actually lasts pretty long time on like cardboard and metal, like 3 days. I mean, so it's like it's not like it just dies or
No, yeah, I
yeah,
try not to think about that too much as a mom, parent, but right,
yeah,
we open our
right,
boxes outside our houses like many people, and then we
yeah,
wash our hands, we take
yeah,
the items out. There's definitely a caution, right, that everyone has. I hear that there are people who are wiping down every item from the grocery. We've just implemented a waiting period in our house, so
yeah. So just out of curiosity, when you get mailers now, like you get advertisements, like some like the junk mail stuff, what do you do with it? Do you just immediately chuck it, or do you what do you do when
what
you
do
get
we
it?
do with it? Well, we like many families have a system for the mail. So we have a one bin that's for the mail that's just
Oh,
come in, and then you can open it there and put it in another spot and then wash your hands, right? And but people know not to touch that mail.
I
So
see.
we just have instituted really a waiting period. And I'm noticing that we're getting less and less mail. And I don't know, I mean, the post office must be struggling. I see the postal workers wearing
Oh,
face masks, but it's a very difficult time.
yeah, yeah. I wonder like I know in my household we're looking to do more electronic statements, try not to which like anyone that could send us stuff electronic, we try to
Interesting.
yeah, and so I think that's also better environmentally as well, right?
Absolutely. No, no, there are a lot of good things. So I worked from home. I've started my own business recently, but
Mm,
I've worked from home since 1999.
mm,
And I'm used to it. So this hasn't been a big shift for me,
yeah,
but I think, the not driving and the pollution, there are many benefits to society from some of the things we're seeing.
yeah,
People making the decision not to get paper mail, right? These are great
yeah,
choices.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I mean they're saying that the skies are now blue, right? I mean, like I grew up in LA
oh,
and
I've heard, I saw a
there's
picture.
yeah, it used to be tremendous smog, right? But now it's like you can see like for miles, right? It's amazing.
I know my college student goes to school in Southern California, and someone sent him a picture, and it is spectacular. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. So it's like, what if, like, without this economic devastation, right?
You know?
We could get that. That would be amazing.
It would be
But
amazing. Yeah, I think the economic devastation of this is something we're all deeply concerned about, and the safety of people who are out working. I mean, I
yeah,
feel so lucky to be able to work from home. So,
agreed. Um,
Greg, we have a meeting coming
okay.
up at
So
2:20. Yeah.
Giselle, why
Okay,
don't you
Google
thank you
Stop.
for writing in? It sounds like a really really worthwhile thing to for us to try to see if we can make happen.
that would be
So
fantastic.
really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Okay, have a good day.
Be
Bye.
safe.